Hey guys, I'm Angela Brown and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is the show where you get to ask your house cleaning questions and I get to help you find an answer. If I don't have an answer, I'm probably connected to somebody who is. I'm connected to the best and the brightest minds in the house cleaning industry. I've been a professional house cleaner for 25 years and everything I learned by trial and error. So I've made all the mistakes so you don't have to. So you can ask a question simply by going to askahousecleaner.com. Click on the little blue button over in the right-hand corner. A little microphone will pop up and you can ask your question. It will send it to me directly here at the show. Now, on today's show, we're going to cover this question. This question just came in not from a microphone, but through an email. My client wanted to know what happens when I've been a house cleaner for a period of time. I've been coming back to somebody's house, and every time I come back, they get a little bit more comfortable with me coming. And they leave more dishes in the sink and more laundry and the beds are unmade and they're taking advantage of me because they're more comfortable with my service. How do I deal with that? What do I do? All right, so here's my answer for you. The very first thing that you have to do is you have to set ground rules when you show up the very first time you do an initial walkthrough at your customer's house. This is the time where you get to show them, I am the boss of my company. I am in control. I am providing a service that you need. And so when you walk around the house through your initial walkthrough, it's super important that you make your rules clear so that your clients and your prospects that are going to hire you, they know what to expect from you, right? Because if you don't clarify, they don't know where the boundaries are. So as you get to the kitchen sink, I want you to stop. There are probably no dishes in the kitchen sink. And so ask them, hey, is this typical of when I arrive? There are no dishes in your kitchen sink right now. Are there going to be no dishes when I arrive? And if there are one or two dishes, do you want me to do that as part of the house cleaning, or are you going to do the daily chores? And you break it apart. There are daily chores, there are weekly chores, there are bi-weekly chores, and there are monthly chores. Of those chores, which is it that you are hiring me to do? And you want to clarify that right up front, because if you think that you're doing bi-weekly chores and they think that you're doing daily chores, there's going to be a huge disconnect. Okay, so here's the reason why we have to be so specific. If they say, yes, I want you to do the dishes, then plan in your schedule for time to do the dishes every time you come. And if they say, no, I'll take care of the dishes, then you don't have to plan for that time. But if I show up today to bid a job and there are no dishes in the sink, that's awesome, right? But then when I come back, there are 2 dishes and I hurry and wash those dishes because it's only 2 dishes. It's not a big deal. But then when I come back 2 weeks later, there are 10 dishes. Now 10 dishes takes a little bit longer than 2 dishes, but it's still not very long. Every time I do those dishes, I'm enabling that customer to take advantage of me. They say, oh, well, Angela did my dishes last time. I guess she'll do them again, right? So you've planned for a certain amount of time to do your chores when you get to this person's house. Then you get there one day and all these dishes are in the sink from last night's dinner. They got spaghetti in the pots still. There's spaghetti sauce all over the kitchen. You have garlic bread and crumbs strewn all over. But because you set the precedence of doing the dishes every single time, now they expect that from you. And they're not paying you any more money, they just expect you to do that. So if you clarify from the very beginning what your expectations are, there's less of a chance that people are going to take advantage of you. Now, in my particular company, I have what I call renewable agreements. Now, a renewable agreement is not a contract. I don't make anybody sign a contract to have house cleaning service with me. We're both free to come and go as we want. If you want to get rid of me, you want to fire me, that's fine, no hard feelings. If I decide that you're not a good fit for me, I would like to be able to say goodbye and there are no repercussions, okay? But a renewable agreement is this. I can come clean your house. I will be your house cleaner if everything goes swimmingly for 1 year. At the end of the year, my agreement with you stops. It's over. And so at the end of the year, if you still want me to be your house cleaner, you have to fight for my business. Because if I find somebody that's willing to pay more money or somebody that I get along with better, I'm going to switch and go with someone else. I'm only guaranteeing that I will be your house cleaner for 1 year. And at the end of the year, if you don't like me, then we will go our separate ways. If you do like me, we have to renegotiate our contract. Is that fair? And I tell them that. I set this up from day one. And so what happens is they're like, yeah, that's fine. It's a year down the road. So sure, that seems like a fair deal. But what happens in the back of their mind is they're always thinking, oh no, this is like I'm dating someone I know I will never marry. This is not a permanent relationship. It could go kaput at any moment. So every single time I come, they have to refight for my business, okay? They don't want me to leave at the end of the year. And I have to fight for their business. I don't want them to fire me at the end of the year. And so what happens at the end of the year when you renew those contracts, it's kind of like when you work in corporate America and you have an annual review at the end of every year, okay? They go through and they evaluate what you're doing right and they tell you where you can improve and maybe they give you a raise. No one in house cleaning is ever going to come and say, oh, it's time for you to have a raise. I'd like to give you more money. That's not how that works. You have to ask for your own raise. And if your contract is renewable at the end of every year, that gives you an opportunity to say, hey, you still want me on as your house cleaner. I still want to clean for you, and I must charge you more money if we're going to move forward. So it's a really great segue into, yes, we still want this relationship to work, but here's how we have to renegotiate it a little bit. And they know it's coming. They know it's coming because I set it up last year when I bid the job. So how do you get customers to not take advantage of you? You, as the boss, you set it up from day one. And I encourage you to think about that before you go out on your next initial walkthrough with a new prospect. That's it for today, and until I see you again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.